What is outside the universe? Imagine this. You're standing at the edge of existence itself. Not the edge of Earth, not even the edge of the observable universe. You are staring at the very boundary of everything we know, and beyond that edge lies nothing. But what does that actually mean? What is nothing? And how can the universe, with all its galaxies, stars, and particles, expand into something that does not exist? Today we step into one of the deepest mysteries in physics and philosophy: what lies outside the universe and what nothing really is.
Welcome to Lazy Animal. We discuss the secrets that shape our world.
According to our best theories, about 13.8 billion years ago, the universe began with the Big Bang. But the Big Bang wasn't an explosion in space. It was the creation of space itself. Matter, energy, time, and the very fabric of the universe all came into existence together. This means the Big Bang didn't happen in something. There was no empty void, no space waiting to be filled. Space itself was born in that moment. Before the Big Bang, not even time existed. So asking what was before is almost meaningless, because before requires time, and time itself hadn't been created yet. Still, the human mind rebels. We want to picture an explosion happening inside a room, or an object expanding into a larger container. But the universe isn't like a firecracker exploding in the dark. It is more like the firecracker creating the darkness around it as it expands.
What about emptiness? Surely we can create a perfect vacuum, right? A chamber with nothing inside, just like in deep space? Not quite. Even the emptiest vacuum is never truly empty. Thanks to quantum mechanics, space is filled with restless activity. Particles flicker in and out of existence in unimaginably short timescales. This is called quantum fluctuation. So even when we think of nothing, quantum physics tells us there is always an activity beneath the surface. The universe may have emerged from such a fluctuation. In some models, the universe was born not from absolute nothingness, but from the quantum foam itself. But when cosmologists talk about nothing, they don't mean emptiness or a vacuum chamber with all air sucked out, because even that has dimensions. It has length, width, depth. It has laws of physics governing it. It could still be influenced by gravity, light waves, and magnetic forces. The kind of nothing before the Big Bang was far more extreme. No space, no time, no dimensions at all. You couldn't stretch out your hand because there was no out for it to move into. You couldn't wait for a moment because there was no moment to wait in. This is almost impossible for the human brain to picture. We evolved to live in 3 spatial dimensions and 1 of time. Our imagination always cheats when we think of nothing. We usually imagine darkness or an empty void. But darkness is something. A void is something. Nothing in this context means literally no framework in which something could exist.
And yet, the universe expands. Galaxies drift farther apart. Space itself stretches, and our cosmic horizon grows. So what lies at the edge? Here's the shocking answer. There is no edge. To see why, picture the entire universe compressed into just 10 meters across, as it was a fraction of a second after the Big Bang. Every star, every galaxy,
every atom that would one day exist was packed into this tiny arena of reality. Now imagine standing inside this bubble of existence. The temptation is overwhelming. Just take a step outside, push through the shimmering boundary of reality, and glimpse what lies beyond. But here's the paradox. That step cannot be taken. Not because there's a wall stopping you, but because there is no outside for your foot to land in. The bubble of space-time isn't expanding into a larger container. It is expanding itself. And that's where human intuition begins to collapse. We are so used to thinking of growth relative to something else. A balloon inflates into the air of a room. A ripple spreads across the surface of a pond. A fireball expands into the surrounding atmosphere. But the universe is not like that. The universe is the room. The universe is the pond. And when it grows, it doesn't require an outside to grow into. It simply creates more of itself. Space is the only stage that exists, and when it stretches, it enlarges reality itself.
To make this less abstract, cosmologists often use the balloon analogy. Imagine a tiny ant crawling along the surface of a balloon. The ant can walk forever and never encounter an edge. To the ant, the balloon is self-contained. It does not need an outside to exist. Now, if the balloon is small enough, the ant might even see the back of its own body, because the surface curves in on itself. The trail it leaves loops around and reconnects with its own past. In that sense, the balloon is both finite and unbounded. Our universe may be similar. If space is curved in the right way, then in principle, if you traveled far enough in one direction, you could eventually return to where you started. And if the early universe were once small enough, you could, in a strange way, see the back of your own head. It would feel almost like standing in a hall of mirrors, where space itself bends your gaze back toward you. So when you imagine that 10-meter universe, don't think of it as a glowing ball hanging in an empty room. Instead, think of reality itself compressed into those 10 meters. There is no vantage point outside to peer in from, no cosmic scaffolding, no background stage. And here's the strangest twist. You are not inside the bubble. You are the bubble. Every atom in your body, every quantum of energy around you is part of the same expanding fabric. The balloon picture helps, but it is still only a shadow of the truth. Because unlike the balloon's surface, our universe is not two-dimensional. It is three-dimensional space, and maybe more if hidden dimensions exist. The true shape of reality could be far stranger than any analogy we can comfortably imagine, something so alien to human thought that every metaphor we reach for is only a faint whisper of its actual geometry. To understand this better, we have to talk about space-time. Einstein showed us that space and time aren't separate entities. They are woven together into a single four-dimensional fabric. Just as magnetism and electricity turned out to be two aspects of one thing called electromagnetism, so too are space and time bound into one unity, space-time. This means that when the Big Bang occurred, it wasn't just matter being created, it was space-time itself that burst into being. Asking what's outside space-time is like asking what's north of the North Pole. The question itself stops making sense. But other ideas exist. Some theories of the multiverse suggest that our universe is just one bubble among many, each with its own laws of physics. If that's true, then outside our universe might be another universe entirely. But here's the catch. If those other universes exist, we may never be able to observe them. By definition, they are beyond our cosmic horizon. The edge of our universe is like a locked door we cannot open. Ultimately, the problem is not just scientific, it's psychological. Our minds are wired to think in terms of space and time. We picture objects in containers, events on timelines, edges and boundaries. The idea of nothing existing outside space and time is not just difficult, it may be fundamentally impossible for the human brain to comprehend. So when we ask, what is outside the universe, the most honest answer might be the question itself is flawed. There is no outside. The universe doesn't need a container. It simply is. That is all for today. Thank you for watching, and feel welcome to check out our other videos where we discuss current philosophical topics. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next week.